and welcome to the Bold and Beautiful podcast. I'm your host, Amanda, and I've titled this week's episode, Shocking DNA Results, because we finally get to see who Flo's father is. I hope you guys had a good week and weekend. Mine was busy, as usual, but nothing too exciting, to be honest. Let me say really quick, it's really bad weather here, so I apologize if you hear the thunder and rain, because it's really bad right now. I am hoping I do not lose power, because that would not be good. So before we get into the news, I just wanted to let you know that I am working on getting more guests to be on the podcast. So we have that to look forward to. Okay, guys, let's get into the news. I only have a couple things that I thought some people might be interested in. Ashley Jones, who played Bridget on the show, she is going to be in a new Lifetime movie. It's a thriller titled Home Killing Queen. It's set to premiere on Lifetime on Saturday, May 11th at 8 p.m. It sounds like it's going to be pretty good. It is about a beautiful homecoming queen frontrunner who is found dead in the woods. So it sounds like it might be pretty good. The next thing I have, Allie Mills, who plays Pam, has just filmed a new movie called The Fiddling Horse. It is about a woman who inherits a racehorse and tries to cash in on its social and monetary benefits in order to elevate her failing status within her high society circle. It sounds like it might be pretty interesting. The only thing is it might be hard for a lot of people to see this movie because it is going to be featured at film festivals. So it won't be out at regular theaters. But some of you might get to see it. Where I am, probably not. The last bit of news I have is about Courtney Hope, who plays Sally. She is filming a movie with Ninth House Films entitled Christmas Here or There, aka Christmas Catch. It does not give a lot of information, but it does say that she is having a lot of fun filming the movie, and it also says that it will be out during the 2019 Christmas season. I'm not sure where, but I'll keep you updated when I find out. And that is all the news I have for this week, guys. So enough with the chit chat. Let's get to the recap. Monday, April the 8th. The show opens at Forrester Creations in the executive office with Quinn and Shauna. And Shauna is freaking out because Bill is Wyatt's dad. And Quinn does not understand her reaction. So she tries to explain that finding Bill was really good for Wyatt. And she should really consider letting Flo find her father. And then Shauna gets very intense. And she says, no. She can never know the truth. And Quinn is really caught off guard by Shauna's aggressive reaction. And there's like an awkward silence for a minute, and then Shauna excuses herself to go to the restroom. Now we head over to Bill's office with Bill and Katie. And Justin is teaching Will all about law. So Will's hanging out with Justin, which Katie and Bill think is adorable. Bill is talking about how important his kids are to him, etc., and he admits that he will always resent Quinn for keeping Wyatt from him. And Bill really hates Quinn, that's obvious. So Bill has to get Quinn to sign some papers, so he is headed over to Forrester Creations. But before he goes, he asks Katie out on a date for dinner, and she says yes. Now we head over to Flo's apartment with Flo and Wyatt. And Flo thinks this whole DNA thing is probably not going to work. She is also worried, if it does work, that she might not like the truth. Of course, Wyatt is super positive and super supportive, and he tells Flo the story about how he found Bill with Hope's help, because Hope saw his sword necklace, and she put two and two together. Side note, every time someone says Hope's name or Hope comes up, it obviously makes Flo uncomfortable and upset. So Flo is also worried about how her mom's going to react, because she doesn't want to upset her mother. And Wyatt assures her that her mom will eventually come around. And of course, they keep checking the DNA website to see if they got any info yet. And then out of the blue, Flo kisses Wyatt. And he's like, no, we cannot do that. And then Flo professes her love for him. She has always loved him. There's a part of her that will always love him. And Wyatt looks surprised and a little uncomfortable, to say the least. I don't know what Flo's thinking, because she does not know Sally, right? Flo is looking to get shot. That's all I'm gonna say. Now we head back to Forrester Creations in the executive office. Bill arrives to talk to Quinn. And Quinn says, yeah, I'll sign the papers later. I'm with a friend right now, blah, blah, blah. And then Shauna walks in. And Quinn goes to introduce them, and Shauna's like, Bill, it's me, Shauna Fulton. You don't remember, do you? And Bill looks so confused, and Quinn looks shocked. So Shauna tries to jog Bill's memory about Vegas. And she's mentioning this and that and this and that. And then Bill finally remembers. And then Shauna informs them that Flo may be Wyatt's sister. And Quinn is freaking out. And that's how Monday ends. So that brings us into Tuesday, April the 9th. The show opens at Forrester Creations in the executive office with Quinn, Shauna, and Bill. Bill and Quinn are both freaking out about this bombshell that Shauna has dropped, that Wyatt and Flo could be brother and sister. Quinn is so upset, and Bill accuses Shauna of lying to get money from him. But Shauna is clearly not doing that. So Bill orders everyone to come back to his office so that they can figure this whole mess out. Now we head over to Flo's apartment with Flo and Wyatt. Flo apologizes for kissing Wyatt. Then she tells him that she never really got over him. And poor Wyatt is obviously feeling uncomfortable. And Wyatt says that it's fine, it's no big deal, it's just a kiss between friends. And then they go back to checking the DNA website. Now we head back to Forrester Creations in the side office with Hope and Zoe. Zoe again tries to advise or encourage Hope to have another child. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, zip it. She has some nerve, okay? Zoe has some nerve. Hope doesn't want to hear it. She may never want to have another child, and she doesn't want to hear it. So Hope tells Zoe that she feels a connection to Flo and Phoebe, and she doesn't know why. And that she wants to spend time with Flo because she thinks Flo can help her. And of course, Zoe doesn't like this idea one bit. It's driving her nuts, and I love it. So she tries to talk Hope out of it. But it doesn't work, and Hope calls Flo, and Flo agrees to meet her at Forrester Creations. I love that this is driving Zoe nuts. Back at Flo's apartment, Wyatt talks Flo into going to see Hope, because she kind of doesn't want to. And he tells her not to worry, that he will let her know if anything pops up on the dad front. back at Forrester Creations, Flo has arrived, and Hope gives her a tour of Forrester. And they just returned to the executive office, and she's telling Flo about the Logans and the Forresters and how they're connected, and just telling her about the company and stuff. And Donna comes in, and Hope introduces Donna to Flo. They don't really get to talk that much because Pam comes in and needs Donna's help, so Donna leaves to go help Pam. And Hope explains to Flo that she really thinks Flo can help her move forward. She wants her help. Now we head over to Bill's office with Bill, Quinn, and Shauna. Bill wants answers. Now. So, Shauna explains that she was young, and she was seeing more than one guy when they hooked up, so she really isn't sure who Flo's father is, but it could be Bill. And Quinn is like about to just lose it. Like she's about to just lose it. And she's so upset. And she's like, this changes everything. Because Wyatt and Shauna have been spending time together. And they have to know. They deserve to know if they're siblings. So they immediately call Wyatt to come over to the office. So a few minutes later, Wyatt arrives. And he knows something is up. So after a few minutes of beating around the bush, finally, Quinn tells Wyatt. And he is shook. He is completely stunned. He's freaking out. He's just in shock. And that's how Tuesday ends. So that brings us into Wednesday, April the 10th. The show opens in Bill's office with Wyatt, Shauna, Quinn, and Bill. And this interaction was so funny because Bill and Quinn obviously cannot stand each other. And they keep talking over each other and interrupting each other and giving each other dirty looks and snide remarks. It was really funny to watch. So Wyatt is completely freaked out. He does not want to believe that Flo could be his sister. So he starts to grill Bill and Shauna. And they admit that they were together one time. And Wyatt's like, one time? I mean, who gets pregnant after one time? And Quinn's like, everyone? It was pretty funny because poor Wyatt. So they continue to argue over whether they should tell Flo or not. And Wyatt's like, oh no, we're gonna tell Flo. As a matter of fact, Flo already took a DNA test and we're waiting for the results to come back. And this clearly upsets Shauna because she doesn't want Flo to know the truth. So Wyatt gets a message and it's Flo's DNA results. And everyone's like, dun dun dun. So over at Forrester Creations in the executive office with Hope and Flo, Flo does not think that she can be Hope's friend. And this clearly hurts Hope's feelings a little, you can tell. And Hope says that she was just hoping that they could be friends and then before she can finish, Zoe, I'm going to tell y'all one thing. This girl has some nerve. Like, she is really being ridiculous. Okay, you're an intern. You are being ridiculous. So basically she's trying to get Hope away from Flo by using work. You know, like, oh, well, we have these things that we have to get done. And Hope's like, yeah, I'll get to them when I get done. So basically Hope dismisses her. And it's just driving Zoe nuts. So on the way out, Zoe gives Flo such a dirty look. And I'm like, oh my gosh, rude AF. So then Hope almost begs Flo to help her and to be her friend. Because Hope is convinced that Flo found this miracle to have peace. Like to have peace with not having her daughter. And Hope is really hoping that Flo can help her find peace. She could if she just told her the truth. I mean, come on. So Flo gets a call from Wyatt. And he is trying to explain to her that the results are in and he's got the DNA results from the place. And as he's trying to explain this to her, and Flo's like, look, I'm right in the middle of something. I'm really busy. I can't talk right now. So Flo hangs up on Wyatt. And then she starts to tell Hope the truth about Beth. Because she just can't take the guilt anymore. The sadness and just, Hope is so sweet. Like, I just think Flo can't take it anymore. Meanwhile, across the hall in the side office with Zoe and Xander, Zoe tells Xander that she is going on a trip to London for a few days and she needs to go alone. That it's something she has to do on her own. So basically he can't go. And of course, Xander wants to know why and what's going on. So she tells him that she has unfinished business with her dad. And Xander is clearly worried about her because he knows that something else is up. So she tells Xander this really cryptic message. She says, look, I need you to do me a big favor. Something may happen with Hope. It could be happening as we speak. So I'm leaving to go on this trip. But if anything happens, if she makes an announcement, or if something big changes, I need you to text me or call me immediately and let me know. And Xander's just looking at her like, I have no idea what's going on. You're freaking me out. But he promises that he will do it. And they hug it out. So now we head back to Bill's office. And Bill, Quinn, and Shauna are all demanding that Wyatt tell them the results before he takes off to Forrester to tell Flo. So Quinn tells Wyatt, you will never hear me say these words again, but you need to listen to your father and tell us the results. So, of course, Wyatt's ambushed, so he gives in, and he logs into Bill's laptop. And of course, Bill is super impatient, so he pushes Wyatt out of the way, and he looks at the results himself. And then he looks at Shauna, and he looks at Quinn, and he says, oh my God. And that's how Wednesday ends. So that brings us into Thursday, April the 11th. The show opens in Bill's office with Wyatt, Quinn, Shauna, and Bill. Everyone is on pins and needles because they want to know if Bill's the dad. Bill is so happy. Me and my husband laughed at this because I have never in my life seen someone so happy to not be someone's father. So Bill's so happy and he's almost jumping up and down and he's like, I'm not the father. So he reveals that Storm Logan, Brooke, Katie, and Donna's brother, is Flo's father. So Flo is a Logan. They're all excited and they're all happy. So they all leave to go tell Flo and Hope the news. Except for Bill. He's staying to bask in the good news that he's not the father. It was so funny. Now we head over to Brooke's house with Brooke, Katie, and Donna, the Logan sisters. And they are discussing Flo and Hope's new relationship. And how Brooke is not so sure that Hope hanging out with Flo is a good idea. Then Donna accidentally spills some water on Katie. And this kind of highlights the scar on her chest. Then that triggers them to start talking about Storm and how much they miss him and how much they loved him. And then we get a montage of flashbacks. We just get all these flashbacks of Storm when he used to be on the show. So here's our history lesson. Really quick if you're new to the show. It's a long story. Katie was dying in the hospital because she needed a heart transplant. There's a lot before this, but if you want to know, if you want to know, you should look it up because it's interesting, but I'm not going to go into all of it. So Katie's dying in the hospital. She needs a heart transplant. And in another room of the hospital, Storm takes his own life. He shoots himself so that Katie could have his heart, because he really wanted to save his sister. He could not take the fact that she was dying and that he could save her. So he did. And to be honest, I liked Storm. He was very handsome, and I liked him most of the time. Sometimes he was a little crazy. So they chit chat and they talk about Storm for a little while, and then they get back to the subject of Hope. And basically Brooke is thanking Donna and Katie for being there for Hope. And Katie reminds them that they're Logans. They're strong women who are loyal, and they fight for each other, and they will get Hope through this. There's a lot I could say right now about this, but I'm going to wait till the end. Now we head over to Forrester Creations with Hope and Flo. Flo is telling Hope the truth. She says that she knows who's responsible for taking Beth, and then Hope interrupts her. And Hope starts again with, I want you to be my friend. I think you can help me. I feel a connection to you. So then Flo tries again to tell Hope the truth. And again, Hope interrupts her. And I'm like, really, Hope? Just shut it. Let her talk. And of course, right when Flo is about to spill the truth, Wyatt, Quinn, and Shauna walk into the office, and she's interrupted again. Shauna tells Flo they got the DNA results, and her father is Storm Logan. And as you can imagine, Hope and Flo are shocked. And that's how Thursday ends. Okay guys, my dog is insisting on coming in here with me. So if you hear him in the background, I'm sorry. He can be quite loud, but he's throwing a little fit because he doesn't like when I record without him. So if you hear him, I apologize. So that brings us into Friday, April the 12th. The show opens at Forrester Creations, but we're going to circle back to that later. We are going to start at Brooke's house with the Logan sisters. They all agree to talk about Storm more and to keep his memory alive. They are still reminiscing about Storm and how much of a sweet person he was, but that he was a very complicated person also. And it's obvious that Katie feels guilty that he died for her. So she feels obligated to live life to the fullest to honor his memory. And I'm like, okay, we get it. We get it. Like, they're beating us in the head with it because they keep going, right? So then they say, you know, it's really sad that Storm never had a family or children, because he would have been such a great father if only he would have had a child. And they're on and on and on. And I'm like, okay, we get it. We get it. We know what's going on. So now we head over to Bill's office with Justin and Bill. And Justin is talking business, and Bill is not paying any attention at all to him. He's like in his own world. And Justin is like, hey, what's up? So Bill tells Justin what happened earlier, and they are both beyond happy that Bill is not the father. They're drinking and laughing, and I've never seen someone this happy. Like, I've never seen Bill this happy, I don't think. So Justin is shocked to find out that Storm is Flo's father. Now it's time for another history lesson. In case you forgot, or you're new to the show, Justin and Donna were together when they were young, and they also were together again when they got a little bit older. They had a child, and so Justin knows exactly who Storm is. Bill tells Justin that thanks to Storm, he has Will, because Storm gave his life for Katie. And if he wouldn't have done that, he never would have had Will. And he will always be grateful to Storm for that. Now it's time to circle back, guys. We're almost done. We head over to Forrester Creations in the executive office with Hope, Flo, Wyatt, Quinn, and Shauna. Flo and Hope are in shock, to say the least, because they realize they're cousins. And Hope is beyond happy that Flo is a Logan and that they're cousins. And Shauna explains to Flo that she didn't know who her father was for sure, and that's why she never told her. And surprisingly, Shauna is not upset with Flo for doing the DNA test. She actually changed her mind once she found out the truth. She's glad that Flo found out the truth because it's time that she knows. And poor Flo, she is shocked. She is uncomfortable. She is guilty feeling. She is stunned. Like, she's all these things. And she's barely talking. So she doesn't even know what to say, really. And Shauna assures Flo that Storm was a really good man, and that if he knew about her, he would have been a good father. And Hope completely backs her up on this. And the way that they're speaking, Flo realizes that Storm has passed away. And of course she's upset because she will never get to meet her father. And never really get to know him. So Hope tells her that she has some really great aunts who loved him more than anything, and they keep his memory alive, and that she will get to know him through them. And Hope is super excited that Flo's her cousin. She's over the moon about this. I personally think this is genius because I love that there's another Logan. So Hope tells Flo, I get it now. What you were trying to tell me, your big secret, I get it now. I understand. And Flo has tears coming down her eyes and she's looking at Hope like, you don't. And that's how Friday ends. On somewhat of a cliffhanger, which is the best way to end the soap week, I think, anyway. Alright, so let's analyze this. Let's break it down. Zoe. I'm glad she's leaving because she is really getting on my nerves. And if she doesn't get fired after the truth comes out, I am going to lose it. Okay? And Xander, are you kidding me? Your girlfriend tells you she's leaving and you can't go. And that if something happens with your boss, something important, something big, she needs to know immediately. And you don't ask any questions? She obviously knows something big about Hope. And you're just like, alright, okay, well, I'm worried about you. Come on, Xander. Come on. You would ask questions if that was your boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay? Let's talk about the Logan sisters. I like seeing the three Logan sisters together. I have mixed emotions because they were, girl power and we're strong women and we're loyal and we're always there for each other. And I'm thinking in my head as this is happening, I'm thinking, Katie, most of her pain is from Brooke because Brooke cheated with Bill more than once while Katie was married to him. So I was kind of like, oh, I don't know about loyal. Okay, I guess now they're loyal to each other. Okay, I don't think Brooke would do that again. But then again, I oftentimes think there's no way this character would do that. And then they do. So what do I know? Let's talk about Bill and Quinn and Wyatt because they were cracking me up. They were trying to ask Wyatt in a roundabout way if he has ever slept with or done anything sexual with Flo. And Wyatt is just like, I am not discussing this with you. Okay? It's not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to discuss this with you. And then, of course, you have Bill and Quinn constantly going back and forth. and talking over each other, undermining each other. It was really funny to watch, and I loved these scenes. And I thought that Denise Richards did a really, really good job as Flo's mom. Let's talk about Hope. I feel so sorry for Hope. I do not know how much longer we have to endure this nightmare, because it's really sad. She said, I forgot to mention this, she told Flo that she goes to the roof to be by herself because sometimes she can see Catalina way in the distance, and that's where her whole life changed. And I'm like, oh my gosh. As Tim said, I had a one brook tear coming down my face. And, I just really, like, it's so sad. I can't take it much longer, guys. Let's talk about Flo. I think this is genius. To make her a Logan is absolutely genius, and I love it. I hate that Storm is dead, because I would love for him to be able to come back. I was hoping that Flo's father was Deacon, because I wanted her to be connected to Hope. I never even thought of Storm as a possibility, I'll be honest. So they really got me with this one. I feel sorry for Flo, and it's funny because I'm mad at myself for feeling sorry for her, because she needs to tell Hope. Like, she's keeping this secret, which should make you hate her. But at the same time, it's really, really, like, destroying her, keeping this secret. So then on the other hand, you feel sorry for her. So on one hand, I'm like, Flo, you're being ridiculous, and I'm over it. And then on the other hand, I'm like, Reese took advantage of her. I feel so sorry for her. And so I'm conflicted. I hope that Flo tells Hope the truth as soon as possible. And that way, Hope can work on forgiving Flo. Because at first, Hope is not going to take this well. She is going to be livid. Ecstatic and livid at the same time. And I'm just hoping that we don't have any Steffi Hope fighting. Okay? I'm hoping that Steffi does the right thing and gives the baby back to Hope and Liam. I'm hoping she doesn't try to say, well, she's mine now. I'm attached to her. I'm not giving her up, because I really don't want to live through that. Like, this show's been so dark lately. I don't want to live through a custody battle. I really don't. So I'm hoping that's not where they're going with this. Okay. On another front, still involving Flo. Flo has lost her mind. Okay. She does not realize who she's messing with, because Sally has already shot at Bill and Wyatt because she was livid at them. Like, Sally is not the one. She's not the one you want to mess with. Just like on, I don't know if you guys watch Housewives, but on New Jersey, Danielle was trying to tell Jennifer, no, Dolores is not the one that you mess with, right? She is not the one you want to get in a fight with. That is how I feel in this situation. Sally is not the one you should make angry, because she will, well, I don't know if I should say she will, but she definitely might shoot you or shoot at you, or at least threaten you with a gun. So Flo needs to watch it, because kissing Wyatt was inappropriate. If you have feelings for him, that's fine. It's fine to express your feelings for someone, but if they are taken, it is not okay to cross the line and kiss them. Now, this is the second kiss. And by the way, Sally doesn't even know about the first one. I'm wondering, are they setting us up for a Sally Thomas reunion? I'm not sure yet if they're setting us up for Thomas to be with Sally and Wyatt to be with Flo, or where exactly they're going just yet. But I have a feeling they're going to break Sally and Wyatt up, and Sally's going to end up back with Thomas, and Wyatt is going to end up with Flo. But I guess we will have to see. So that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening. I would love to hear what you guys think. Send me your comments, your feedback, your predictions. I love to read them on the podcast because I love to get everybody's perspective. You can get in touch with me at theboldandbeautifulpodcast.com. I'm also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you so much again for listening. I will be back in your ears next week. Until then, bye guys.